Insert inappropriate comment here. Bow, 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 bow. No, no estamos on your mom's house. Estamos on a Poetría Encontrada conversation. Second one. Estamos hoy with my dear friend, Christian Lee Villanueva, aka Pixelate for work, aka the person behind the background, aka the cover for Poetría Encontrada. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing. Uh, I am a little tired, a little sore, but happy with my work.
Awesome, awesome. So tired, I know que well, as you told me, as we talked before recording, and as we chatted en estos días previo, it was due to the work that you have right now. Pero sore, does that involve part of your workload? Like, are you carrying a lot of shit, or like
Um, ish. Part of the workload has been moving things around, but that's actually been the easiest part. I'm just a little sore because um, a lot of drawing, and
uh,
so that's the hand part. But then also half of my back was kind of sore because I was drawing this 12-sided mural and I had to get in really awkward positions. Fortunately, someone gave me a yoga mat, so I've been able to stretch some of that out. So um I'm not gonna keel over just yet. But the hard part is over. Now I'm supposed to keep on stretching, but we'll see how much I keep postponing that.
por lo menos, por lo menos. Get to work on that, bud. Get to work on that. ¿Verdad que health comes first, even though we artists tend to put it at last? Este, nada, mano. First off, for those who don't know, tu social media para que vean tu work.
Dale, so the at Pixelated for work uh, cualquier platform. Um, it's gonna be a bunch of. I just post a bunch of drawings, comics, and jokes. I use Twitter to just sort of sometimes test some jokes and post a lot of haiku. So
Yeah, yeah. De hecho, ya que mencionas los haikus, como este, you usually just put them out there like throwaways, pero are you compiling them for a future project or like a
yeah, so I whenever I type them out, I copy it and then I paste it onto my notes. I personally have made the habit of having, as far as like apps that are open in the background of my phone, always having notes and having different categories. So in the poetry one, a big part of that is haiku. So um as that collection keeps growing, I'm sort of sorting how many of these are love and grief, how many are jokes, which has steadily starting. It's been growing a little bit more, and so someone mentioned like, oh, you should probably illustrate some of these, and I have thought about it, and depending on how many, I don't know if a page per haiku and drawing would be excessive, but that would be a pretty nice way since I've had this habit of, oh look, I wrote a poem, but wouldn't it be better as a comic? So keeping the word economy of a haiku and having drawings means I wouldn't have to stretch the text one way or the other. So making it a series of vignettes, I feel might be a little more approachable,
mm,
especially for expediency and to not put as much pressure on the reader.
yeah, yeah. But still, me encanta que you're flexing all the muscles. Your visual muscle, poetic, and comedic. Talking about comedic, I saw that recently you had a stand up, right? Like you performed at an open mic, creo que fue, no me acuerdo.
Um,
How'd it go?
so it went okay. I was super nervous. What happened was that the museum had this sort of event slash fundraiser, and um we had a whole day's worth of programming, and it was called Fortnite because everyone got on Zoom and made like pillow forts, and they said, hey, you know what you could do is you could do some stand up, and I said, well, it's the curse. I can't just turn down an opportunity to goof around.
Yeah.
And but not all my jokes are PG. Oh, you can get a late night spot. So I did that, and because it was Zoom and I can share my screen, it also let me do some of my visual jokes.
Super nice.
And since I'm not on stage holding up drawings, everyone is going to be able to see things perfectly on their screen. So I was able to do that. And I was also able to drop a joke that I've been sitting on for a while, which was I made a pyramid for like where does on what axis is every like weird wish advertisement, and that was a pretty cursed segment, so I left it for the end. But then when the museum was showing clips of my set, that's what they chose to show.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. De hecho, a veces, like acá recordando, a veces te hacía difícil cuando eran los visual jokes, porque pues you were like holding the thing y moviéndola. So, were the punchlines delivered in a more efficient way haciéndolo a través de Zoom?
I'd say so. Since siempre tengo esta awareness de que todo el mundo está a la misma distancia de su pantalla, that's way easier. Since the scary part about doing it live is there gonna be something I can put these on? How far back are the rows gonna go? Is there a stand for the mic? So it certainly lends itself to the medium. So no se puede reemplazar tener like un live audience, but I do like to take advantage of like what opportunities are native to a medium. I guess kind of like the same could be said of like playing D&D online, where en la plataforma que estés jugando online, you have all of these different resources to use for the game that you don't have in person. They don't really beat playing in person, but at least you do get a lot of perks to sort of help counter the fact that we can't be in the same room being gross.
Yeah. It's a new way to experiment too. And around with the art form. So, going into Poetría Encontrada now.
Yeah.
How was the process of making the artwork, dude? Like, yo solamente te envié los references or whatever, pero how did you pick up from there?
So I feel like you know when you're playing a game and you just go off in side quests and sale rotísimo al otro lado, like action Hank level, and then when you go to the main quest you're just bullying the game.
Exactly.
So I feel que con todos los otros covers that we've collabed on, I've had to really like refine some skills that I usually try to like walk around. So having sharpened my toolkit like that when you came my way, algo tranqui, tú sabes, just like, hey, it's a portrait-ish with these features, and it has a level of grit. Like I made it digitally, but because of like the aesthetics of it, the theme of it, it's a very tactile looking cover. I got to have just a lot of fun with it without worrying about a certain degree of polish that makes it look artificial. So it was really fun just doing a portrait. And since I love doing blackout poetry, a lot of it as well, let me block in the shapes, asegurarme que se pueda leer el título y el nombre. And then just looking up things like paper textures that I could compile, because I thought it'd be neat to have this texture that was sort of like a paper mache wallpaper, filthy venue bathroom, graffitied, and then making the the word search. I'm thinking sopa de palabra, but in English that weirds people out when I go, have you seen the latest word soup in the periodical? So it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. I remember that. I think I think this was the last like piece that I finished before my birthday. So it was one of those pieces to close the year out that I just got to have a lot of fun with. And to that note, I saw que posteaste like some pages of it. Okay, even the inside looked like you were making ransom letters and publishing them as a poetry book. So cuando vi que compartiste eso, I saw that and went, oh, okay, the cover like really matches the guts of this book.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Confía que you captured it bien heavy, bien heavy. Y como te había mencionado, this was way back when we were still working on it. Que I would love for you to do the cover for the cousin book of this one, que sería Poetría Encontrada, Poetría Barata. Except maybe this time play around with currency and stuff like that. A ver qué se puede poner en la cara. Te voy a preguntar, ahora que veo el cover again, repasándolo, rápido lo que está como que color crema o brownish, what have you. Me recuerda cuando uno veía películas de Sherlock Holmes o whatever y rápido veía los books. O como en Seven cuando ven las libretas de personajes del tipo este, I forgot his freaking name. Anyway, was there some inspiration from that type of thing? Como que cuando uno va a la biblioteca y ve los libros con las páginas ya así, todo crema, todo chava, or old newspapers, todo chavado ya.
Yeah, so I knew que lo que estábamos haciendo no iba a ser algo súper lleno de color, right? Especially porque algo encontrado, so it needs to be weathered. El toquecito de color helps make it a little warm, and it keeps you also popping out in the foreground. I like the fact that being something que medio chavado, all weathered y viejo. That plus los toquecitos where it's sort of like a blackout poetry. I feel that element of something being redacted makes it seem like you're not supposed to even have this in your hands. So I feel that's a way to sort of entice the viewer, and because of that, charge me $1 every time I say this, I guess, weathered look. I feel that it sort of acts as an icebreaker so that you can interact something without being all like delicate about it. So it's almost like the book is broken in by the time that it's off the presses.
Gotcha. Yeah. De hecho, some of the poems que están en el libro, por lo menos la técnica, la practiqué mucho en el Love Check. So, que eso sería lo de Blackout, ya que lo menciono. So, te pregunto, mano, you also do poetry, y pues hablamos de los haikus, pero have you been doing Blackout poetry recently, or just doing whatever comes to mind?
Tú sabrás que también estaba pensando en Love Shack cuando estaba haciendo esto. That's the nexus where we just developed that while getting coffee. Yeah, I've been writing Yeah, I've been writing poetry. Usually when I write something, it's like, oh, what feeling or what sort of theme do I want to talk about? what words come out? Is it a line? Is it a scene? Sometimes it's a haiku if it's something like, I'm gonna go to bed soon. Let me just boom, okay, it's done. I'll come back to that later. And then I just want to keep it strictly as um, poetry, and I don't know. I guess I've just been amassing it for now. Um, over the past few months, since my efforts have been focused on the museum where I'm at right now. It's still sort of fluid in the sense that it's kind of shapeless. I have themes and I have certain when I write, I notice that the way that I approach poetry personally is is kind of like jokes in the sense that there's a setup and there's a punchline.
Mm.
There's a certain picture that's being painted, and then at the end, the expectations are subverted in a way that if it's a joke, it'll make you haha, and then if it's a poem, it'll usually be like, "Damn, dude, I came here to have a good time, not cry. Get out of here."
Yeah, yeah.
So, I am kind of I am working ish on the side, but at the moment it's not something that I'm sitting down and giving some structure to. And as I'm saying this, I'm not sure if I answered your question exactly or if I gave you the same answer as earlier. But nevertheless, it's a muscle that I at least take out to have like a little stretch or a jog every so often. Especially when I want to rest my hand from drawing, since I get to engage a little differently when I'm writing.
Gotcha, gotcha. De hecho, mano, mencionó que you're working on a museum, so por lo que yo he visto, based on the pictures, it's multidisciplinary, so all sorts of arts are accepted. Uh, have you considered exploring other art forms aside from comedy, poetry, and comics?
Hmm. Yeah, the way that I see it, so when you draw, you go from the general to the specific, and I feel that's the same thing. I've been exploring in the opposite direction, where if I'm very specific, okay, comics. But what do I like about it? Okay, I like drawing and I like storytelling. And so from there, it veers off into which of these creative needs can be met. And I'm always open to exploring them. I'm not gonna be like if si estuviésemos en el Love Shack, drawing would be like that's my go-to. That's my sandwich y el Maya West, you know. But I don't want to always pick my favorite thing on the menu.
Yeah.
So, for instance, um, I got to work on a zine. Okay, I was super that was super catered to me, right? I got to go hyper specific with what I like, but at the same time, with how many different types of projects are happening here, and also, so okay, I saw some blank like poste like at the end of the stairs, and like at these posts, I went, huh, you know what I haven't done in a long time? I haven't gone for a mural. Sure, hey, can I get a budget to get some paint and some medium? And I went for it. And it's you kind of I guess you sort of develop a reflex for whatever medium that you've been working on. So when I was working on this post and I did a brush stroke and I'm getting used to acrylic again. So like, oh, I didn't love that paint stroke. And then my reflex was to just like tap with two fingers this wet mural as if that we're gonna undo it. Um so yeah, I went for it, especially since this sort of has been like finals week. um I got to have fun with it in the sense that sometime during my studies I realized like, oh, that's you really should just have fun with whatever it is that you're making. That's and like, okay, have the criteria for whatever the thing that you're making has that been met? okay, now you get to go off and have a lot of fun with it, versus making it, have the criteria been met? Okay, no reason to really work any harder. So to that degree, being able to work on a piece and not worry about grades, I got to just jam out, because like I'm gonna have to engage with it anyway. So I've just tried to focus on having a mindset that works, and that works for me specifically, and that's something that you kind of actively have to do. You don't just like get inspired and do well automatically. So yeah, murals are something I tried. As far as I'm not sure what other medium I could just drop off the hat, but to just to kind of circle this back, if I get to engage in a way that I am able to draw or tell stories, then a lot of my needs are met as far as the creative work. And at the same, and as long as that's there, I am more than happy to be challenged with whatever. What's the medium? What's the project? What are we doing? Let's figure this out. We can do this. I'm already like halfway. I already have one good skill, like sort of like holstered. Like that's my trusty revolver, right? So anything else is gonna be fine, especially like just enjoying the processes of it. I don't know what other example to give other than tattooing, but I haven't tattooed, and that's a bit of a leap to go, yeah, I know how to draw, just give me your skin, it's gonna be fine. You grow that all the time.
Exacto. Normal. Fuck it. Let's go. Ya que mencionaste el mural, when you... Digo, ¿cuánto tiempo te queda por allá?
Fíjate, ayer fue nuestro show, let's say, de graduación, where we just like showed up. This is who we are. These are the things. Please consider sponsoring so this place can keep on running. And so on Monday afternoon, on Monday noon, I'm moving out. So this is the tail end. Like, I've already been dreaming of missing this. Actually, I had a dream that I had a dream that I was here, and like, oh no, I have to leave soon. I'm so sad. Let me just go get a burrito en el pueblo across the street from colegio. And it was just like a bunch of like this tour of things that I have moved on from.
Yeah. So, cuando se acabe el tiempo en el museo, are you staying in the States for a while, or are you coming back to PR?
I am. So as far as the plan goes, the reason that I found this place is I was looking for residencies in Asheville, porque me había mudado with a friend just shortly before the pandemic, and as we were looking for prospects, suddenly, hey, guess what? Quarantine, everybody has to get out. So I had to come back to Puerto Rico. I found this place. This has been a stepping stone to move back to Asheville. So from here, I'm taking the road trip there, and I guess trying to get deeper embedded in the art and stand-up community over there. But I know that I'm going to Puerto Rico. I'm talking to Puerto Rico. What am I? Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Boriqueño. I know that I'm going back at least twice, just because of really important personal events. I don't want to cut ties with it, so it's I don't know. There's this weird feeling of I am a Puerto Rican artist, but does that count if I'm not there at the moment? And it isn't to say that I have the proverbial pauta, to speak in the vernacular, but you can take the Boricua out of Puerto Rico, but you can't take the colonialism resentment out of the
Yeah, I feel
no, but yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I guess we all have to stay indoors anyway, so it doesn't make much of a difference. But nevertheless, I would like to return as when it's viable. I guess when people don't just drop dead and from stepping outside, and there's some sense of financial stability, I would like to return and all that. But I don't want to worry about it too much right now, simply because there's so much going on at the same time that, like, I think just like 3 steps of planning is fine. I can't worry about 5 years all at once. So we will see how the dice fall in that sense.
Gotcha. No, yeah, I just wanted to know porque I wanted to ask si, ya que hiciste mural, if you would like to do a mural maybe in Maya or in some other town in Puerto Rico, in La Isla.
Sure. Yeah, I'd oh my God, I'm gonna get fried by the sun though. I know this in my heart. Yeah, it'd be neat. I visto otras paredes and I'm like, hey, is anyone using those walls? I've noticed that that there's been some artistic intervention around it. I don't know how much of it is under the cover of night, but yeah, I'd like to do murals. I thought it'd be really cool to just kind of go out in the middle of the night and just like paint panels or just like little comics or just sort of just kind of do cartooning around. Since I just like line art, it'd be easy to just sort of wait. I mean, it'd be fun. I don't want to say easy because it's always hard work, especially drawing at that angle and those materials. But yeah, it we need to do murals, and I am, and on that regard, I'm also interested in the collaboration that could go into murals, whether it be premeditated or some sort of exquisite corpse before someone puts up a poster or paints over it. But yeah, I would love to add to that sort of beautification of like, for example, Mayagüez, but like done by its people, especially because the way that the art community and specifically like the way that queer artistic spaces have been really flourishing just before the pandemic and have been persevering through. I feel that the walls also have become a public forum and a conversation. So it's sort of like we're writing our own glyphs on the walls of what's going on, where our conscious is at, and sort of making this public window of where we are at. Both the good and the other stuff.
Yeah. De hecho, mencionaste Exquisite Corpse. Y no es por nada, pero I would love to see an exquisite corpse between you and Kafka, Carlos Fonse. Like your black and white type of thing. Y
Yeah.
lo del más, oh my God. Y que sea maybe, this is just spitballing, pero ponle que sea tan ciego. Entonces maybe a Deco y él hace a Jan or vice versa o algo así, I don't know. But it would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
Y maybe Enrique del Love Shack le hace lettering o algo así.
Oof.
Oh my God.
The trifecta.
Exacto.
Y'all ain't ready for this one.
The ultimate crossover, as you, if you will.
That's too much. That's too much power. They're gonna try to shut us down.
En verdad que estaría super cool.
Cool. If you're hearing this, which you better, once I get that ticket to go home, you're in this.
Obligado. Just gotta look for the spot. So Asheville era in Pennsylvania, right?
In North Carolina. It's kind of like a neighboring city. So I'm in the Ulster Museum, which is in Greensboro, and then like 3 hours away, maybe, is Asheville. So I guess it's kind of like I'm driving from San Juan to Cabo Rojo. It's that sort of. Actually, I found out that Asheville is smaller than Cabo Rojo.
What?
Yeah, dude. And yet downtown is built like a bootleg New York on purpose. So you have this mixture of pueblo and metro, and also there's bears, which no one told me until I got there. So
oh my God.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's not the bears that you have to worry about. It's the mountain lions. So there's that.
Wow. Al garete. So, ya que además de connecting with the art scene, también you want to connect with the comedy scene. Uh, you released a comedy album not too long ago. I imagine que pues, you're working on jokes. No has podido perform them as much, pero este, I guess this question como que no tiene tanto valor porque pues no se ha podido salir to perform. So
Zumba.
I'm still gonna ask it. Do you see yourself releasing another comedy album in this year or next year or 23?
So, so to take this back a step, the one that I released, I released it. I remember recording it around Christmas Eve 2019, and like that was it was sort of like, okay, I have all these jokes and I have all this poetry, and un pana me prestó el microphone de Rock Band, and I put a sock over it to filter, and I just recorded that and then uploaded it and then moved. So I thought of either some of those jokes after I posted that, I thought, oh no, this is a way better, this is such a nice tag to close this joke. That's something that's gonna happen moving forward. And I'd like to know qué pasa con poesía también, but like you write something and then sometime after you just sort of like, you might be in the shower at 2 a.m. and be like, oh, that was a way better way to close this out, or sort of loop the theme back around.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought of either re-recording it with a better mic and just making it like the arcade edition. The other thing is I do have I have been writing a bunch of jokes now, because there's no like live audience to keep bouncing the jokes and newer versions of it off. They're not, they exist within a bubble where I get the joke because I wrote it, right? And there's sometimes you have to make some compromises. Like I wrote some jokes about death positivity that have jokes about D&D with them, and sometimes you have to sort of make some edits, like, oh, canonically, if we're going by the book, well, technically the punchline would be a dryad, but I barely found out about that by the time that I wrote the joke, so I can't expect people to know some deep end D&D lore, so I'm going to change this to druid. It doesn't make as much sense within that world, but it's a way more accessible way for people to like understand what's happening in the joke. So you have to make those sorts of edits. And I haven't been able to do that because I haven't been able to workshop any of these, right? Like, cannot overstate the importance of like that type of performance aspect and the type of vulnerability of you're testing things, but you're also being graded by people's laughter. I've been thinking about recording on some others, because as I've written jokes, I have found that you can slice them on several sort of axes of, oh, these jokes are kind of about food. I can finally make that fat and quarterly thing I've been joking about for so long, and I stack enough of those together. Even if it's an EP, right? Whatever. No one's performing right now anyway, so it's a free album, wouldn't hurt anyone. Same goes for the poetry side. However, because we're doing so many things that are socially distant, and some of my jokes, not all of them, but some of them fall into that sort of like drawing and sort of visual elements of it. It could also be something that is uploaded in a video format, so it's sort of like a screen grab and then me talking over it. But that sort of falls into like a specific line of YouTube video. So then you would have to make the case of, is this just some YouTube stuff, or does this count as stand-up, or I guess sit-down comedy in this case? So then there's also the aspect of, where does the elitism kicked in, where like it's no longer about just comedy as a comedy as what you're writing, and that's the discipline, and then it veers off into, that's not stand-up as a discipline. But I thought about it, and I don't really care about the box before the product, so we'll see how that falls. I have to I kind of have to get a computer fixed up, so between that or looking for ways to just do it all on the iPad and do all the editing, it would be neat to just make a series of those jokes of, listen, here's a bunch of drawing jokes. Smash that MF subscribe, hit the little bell. But yeah, now that I'm on the other side of this whole museum experience, now it's time to sort of organize in which order these projects are going to be done, since sabes que once your schedule is full, you start to really value what you can do with your time when you're on your own. And no sé cuántas veces está pasado, but like, okay, I have no commissions to work on. There's no other sort of gig stuff happening right now. I'm going to sit down and get back to my own projects. And the second I'm like centimeters away from putting pen on the screen, hey, we need you to do this. So we'll see how that falls moving forward. But anyway, yes, I have considered doing some other recordings to follow it up. I'm sort of thinking, like, if I just do an album, because there's not gonna be like laughter and stuff in the background, which also, laugh on your own. We make fun of having laugh tracks all the time. I just want to be very careful that I'm not overlooking opportunities that have to do with the very medium I'm engaging with.
Gacho, sí. Que con experimentar tampoco como que te cierres puertas or opportunities. Entiendo full. But then again, la idea de experimentar con video and comedy sounds fun. All this being said, my dude, estamos closing. So first off, I want to say thank you for the artwork, as always.
Thank you for the Poetría.
And in the future, que no te dejaro, of course, as always, for other collaborations. Again, para que la gente sepa, your social media, my dude. Social media.
Yeah, hey everyone, you can find me at Pixelate for Work in cualquier plataforma, or you can just slap a .com on it. The site is kind of under construction, but I do have links to a bunch of different projects there and a bunch of drawings, and then from there you can just hop on to the next platform. Also, so by the way, as our collection of covers and interiors is growing, at some point it's going to be big enough to be its own physical album of just a collection of arts.
Obligado. That would be another fun collaboration indeed.
Actually, between that y lo de Kafka, there's already quite a library of illustrations. So.
Verdad que sí. Pixelate for Work everywhere. Pixelate for Work everywhere. Homie, Jeans, dear Jeans, thank you once again. I love you, buddy.
Likewise, thank you. Love you too. Stay hydrated.
Masks on. Yeah, the Water Champ flex right there. Water Champ
always.
Damn.